Raging radicals risk the future. That's the focus of tonight's angle. All right, the socialist, progressive, agitator wing of the Democrat Party, they thought they had it made. A new multicultural hipster took New York by storm. Virginia voters chose a fake moderate. And New Jersey, well, that just continued to be New Jersey. But Democrats had all the momentum. They had the edge. And they thought they had the leverage. But that all went up in smoke with the shutdown deal.
We actually lose leverage in our fight for Americans now that we have capitulated to Donald Trump without any real protections for people's health care or our democracy in the short-term funding bill. The pressure was going to mount on Donald Trump and Republicans over the next few days and weeks to do something.
But it turns out there are a lot of Democrat voters who were sick of waiting for 6 hours at the airport only to have their flights canceled. And a lot of government workers are Democrats, and they weren't getting paid, all for their little stunt. So rather than re-examining the wisdom of their shutdown hostage drama, Trump-hating maniacs near and far threw tantrums and took it all out on the adults in the room.
This was a decision made by 8 people. They clearly had a momentum. They clearly had their own goals.
I can't believe it! Democrats, you sold out the entire shutdown not to get what you wanted, but for a promise to not get what you wanted later.
Then when that all didn't work, of course, they tried to find their fall guy. Of course, the squad is stamping their feet, demanding that Schumer step down. They think that he stalled their election night momentum.
Now they just caved and surrendered. I think Chuck Schumer, his days are over.
I think he is in bigger trouble now. I think Senator Schumer's been there since 1982. My guess is that he won't be leader of the party in 2027.
The leadership of the Democratic Party in many respects is way out of touch with where Democrats in general are.
Okay. It's never about policy. Do you notice it's always about messaging or strategy? Because did they actually think that Democrats were going to get more popular the more they continued to vote against reopening the government? And the closer we got to Thanksgiving? How does that make any sense? Now, President Trump last night offered his own diagnosis of Chuck's problems. And it wasn't that Schumer didn't fight hard enough. It's that he let the inmates run the asylum.
He just went too far. He thought he could break the Republicans, and the Republicans broke him. But he did think that we have good policy, they have bad policy.
Well, he's right. This entire saga exposed the fallacy that Obamacare is and was from the start. It was never going to be affordable without massive government subsidies on top of subsidies. And it wouldn't even be health care as we previously knew it. Instead, with Obamacare, Americans are getting unaffordable ration care, while insurance companies get very, very rich.
The premiums have gone up like rocket ships, and I'm not just talking about recently. I'm talking about for years they've been going up. And he said premiums will go down, everything will be wonderful. It's horrible health insurance at a very high price.
This is exactly what we predicted at all those Tea Party rallies I spoke at 2009, 2010. We said this. When the subsidies ran out, they would all be out of luck. But left-wing grandstanding about health care costs proves that they lied all along. They created a monster, not us. It was always unsustainable, and they knew it. Because universal, government-run care is now and always was their goal. And also now, the Mamdani fanboys and fangirls are mad, and others are just left scratching their heads when asked a simple question.
Who is running the show now in the Democratic Party, in the Senate, in the House?
No one really knows, and I think my values are reflected in my vote and the things that I support here, and if that might put me at odds with parts of my party, I'm okay with that.
Okay, I like him more and more. Principled and practical. I'll take the hoodie. But of course, they're trying to pretend that it's just a family squabble and not a total come apart.
Seems like this is ripping the party apart.
Ripping the party apart? I think you're over-dramatizing this. I mean, I know the news business is to try to make everything like the biggest crisis since
let me
the Cuban Missile Crisis or something.
Don't say it's me.
There's differences of opinion.
Okay, Tim Kaine, this is not the party he joined. Okay, that party's gone. So he's still not really getting it. The hard left, the TDS rageaholics, they do not believe that you have a right to disagree with them. In the party, outside of the party, on almost anything. Well, a few exceptions maybe. So Shaheen, Kaine, Fetterman, they voted to open the government because in their mind, it was the right thing to do. Why? Because their constituents depend on their government paychecks, they depend on SNAP, and some actually, heaven forbid, need to travel. But that was all supposed to be sacrificed for what exactly? For AOC and for Bernie, who hate their guts anyway? Now remember, to Tlaib and Jayapal and Ilhan Omar, if they had their way, Hakeem Jeffries would be out. He's too moderate for them. And today, he desperately tried to put the sand back in the hourglass before his time runs out.
Leader Schumer did not bless this agreement. He voted against it. And of course, Senate Democrats who voted no have made that clear. And what we've seen from Senate Democrats over the last 7 weeks has been part of a valiant fight that we have waged together.
The truth is, Hill Republicans did something kind of unusual for them. They played this smart. They stayed on message and stuck to what is true. We will not be extorted into relitigating the big, beautiful bill only to go further into debt and reward non-citizens with more benefits. Premiums are going up because Obamacare was a lie. And if they really cared about people, they really cared about keeping people healthy, they'd be sitting down with and working with Trump and Republicans who want to find a better way forward. Trump's already said he's willing. If they have just actually engaged with him like a human being, he's open to a lot of ideas. But in this moment, where resistance is king, their favorite sport really, will any Democrat join Trump? Just for a discussion? Well, we won't hold our breath, but Republicans also should not rest on their shutdown laurels. They need to be bold, be persuasive, innovative, and courageous. And that's the end.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.